Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's 2026 and Flutter is absolutely dominating cross-platform development. And more devs are going full stack with a single language, which is of course Dart. Today we are kicking off a brand new series on server-side Dart, starting with Dartfrog, the minimalistic, fast backend framework that's perfect for Flutter developer. So by the end of this video, you have your first Dartfrog API running perfectly. So make sure you stick to the very end, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also drop an honest comment at the end of the video. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. So why server side Dart? Our Flutter basically is like a client where the user see all the functionality and everything, whereas we have the backend which powers everything the user side, which the user sees basically. So that is not just for front-end Flutter anymore. So we have a growing ecosystem where we can build full stack backend development with data as well. So we have some like shell, which is basic. We have server port, which is full stack. And if you have been following my channel TechWithSam for some couple of weeks now, a month, I've been creating a full stack mobile development series on Flutter and server port, so you can check that out on my YouTube on the course section. So you see the full stack with Flutter and server port. So when it comes to Dartfrog stand out for simplicity and speed, and in 2026 the hottest trend is full stack that. So you write your model validation and business logic once in that and share them between your Flutter app and your server. No more complex switching to JavaScript or TypeScript, especially in Firebase Cloud Functions or even the traditional backend developer. So that is it basically. So it's perfect for REST API, microservice, and Flutter backend basically. So next, now we have what exactly is Dartfrog. So Dartfrog is a fast minimalistic backend framework for Dart. So it is created by Very Good Ventures and now thriving as a community-led project. So if you're familiar with JavaScript, you can think of it as Express.js, but it is written purely in Dart. So that is it basically. So it is Route-based, middleware friendly, zero complication, and it's built on Shell and Mason command line interface. Yeah. So some of the key features that stand out is auto reload for server code. We have auto reload for server code. Unlike the traditional backend that you have to restart the server again, you have auto reload. Anytime you make a change, it automatically reload the changes. So we have the built-in CLI for scaffolding and dev server. We have easy testing and production built. We have AOT, which is ahead of time compilation for native production binaries. Also we have middleware support, and as well we have the super easy deployment to Dart Globe. So we'll be exploring Dart Globe basically. This is for deployment basically. So we'll be using Dart Globe for deployment. I will deal with that even later in the course of this series. So make sure you stick to the very end and as well subscribe to the channel. So without further ado, we'll be doing something today. So we'll be doing some quick setup and also running some quick implementation. And also today we'll just be creating a get method where we just output something to the user. Also we create a user route where we just return a list of users, and also we will also create a post method where we can as well add more users to it. So without further ado, let's get straight into it by creating or setting up Dartfrog. So now to set up Dartfrog, you need to install Dartfrog on your machine. So you can just go to Dartfrog, or in your terminal you can just open your terminal. If you're on Windows or macOS or Linux, just open your terminal, then you can just run that pub globe, activate Dartfrog, Dart_frog_CLI. so that will install the frog project on your system, on your machine basically. So I already have it installed, but I will just run the command again so you can just see how it work basically. So it will take few seconds for it to work. Sorry, I think I missed a command. That pop global, yeah, so it should be global, not the spelling is bad. So global. So just run it. So it will check the package even though I have it already. Then it will run it and it will say activated. So you can see that it has activated that frog CLI. So once you have that already, then we can create a project with that frog basically. So just like how we have Flutter create my app and stuff like that, the same way we have that frog. So since we already have the that frog installed on our machine, then we can easily run the that frog command. So I'll just navigate to my document here on my system. I will navigate to documents, then I will say that frog underscore frog create. Let me just name it with my project as well. So my project like this, so it will take few seconds and it will create the project or the necessary file. So you can see the instruction I created in my project to my directory, then get started by typing blah 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 and so on. So the next thing, I'll just open it on VS Code so we can just code from there. So I'll just cd my project, then open it up so we can just get started. All right, so now this is my VS Code. So as you can see, the project folder structure. So we have the these are just some tools. So we have the route basically, as I explained in my presentation earlier. That frog is route based, so it works with route. So when we want to navigate to a new route, you just have to create a new folder inside this route, and it's just like file URL system basically. So inside this index now, you can see the boilerplate, which is welcome to that frog. If we run this project now, to run a that frog project, you just have to go to your terminal, then you can just clear this up. Let me drag this a little bit, then I can say just that underscore frog dev. So this will start the server, so we can have output. So I can just open localhost 800, so you can see welcome to that frog, welcome to that frog basically. So now we can just tweak this to see how best we can as well get some response from it. So instead of this body now, I will change the format from this to something else. So let me just, so instead of just returning a plain text like this, I want to return a JSON format. So to do that, instead of just writing a response, so I can just write response just JSON like this. So response.json, then we have the body. So the body is map. As you can see, we have the key and value, so I have to set the key. So I can say the key should be message or something. So message, so the message will now be what's it called, welcome to that frog. So there's an error here basically. So as we all know is what's it called, map, and map should be inside curly bracket. So I can just select this and put it inside curly bracket. So basically we have the code like this. So basically when I refresh the code, you can see that is now in JSON format. If I copy this URL and launch it on my Postman like this, let me just launch it on Postman. As you can see, if I run it, you can see welcome to that frog. So now we can just do a little tweak. Now let's create a new route inside this route folder that we currently have. Let me just switch back to index. Inside this route folder, I will create a new folder which is users. So we just want to create a simple user JSON format where we can like get the list of users and also like send a post request and so on and so forth. So I can just put index.dat again here. So the first thing now is to just import that frog rather. So that frog like this, then I will create a simple JSON file, I mean map. So I can just say final, let me put underscore users, should be equal to, let me say the data type, which is map string, then dynamic, then we have this. So let me just put this first guy here, then we have the list. So I will just put 2 dummy data. Okay, let me just accept this. So 3 dummy data where we have the ID, Ali, the Bob and Charlie. So we have this 3 dummy data. Then the next thing now is to create request for the get method, for the post method. So we'll just be sticking with both get method and post method, where the user can fetch all the items inside our user table and also probably add a new user to it. So to do that now, we can just start with feature because it's a feature response. So I'll say response, then on request we have the request context. Yes, so basically context. So like that. So I guess I've mixed something. Instead of bracket should be closing bracket. So now after this, now we can check if the method is get, it should do this. If it is post, it should do this. So we can just say context dot request method. So this request method, basically we are work with backend development, get, post, put, delete, patch and the likes. So we can just check the method that the user is sending. So if it is get, then we just want to fetch delete basically. So we can just return response. Response.json. Then we can say the body should be user. Since our user is in map already, we can just return user, and that is that about that. So for this now we have to put we have to return the method because it's a feature method. So we can just come here and just say return response. Let's say the status code should just be 4.5 basically 4.5. So I think this should work perfectly now. So for this, they say the value of response, the value of can return from the function request because it has a type function on response. Okay, so now the next thing we can just so let's just continue. So we can just create the post method as well. So we can check if context request method is equal to http method dot post. So we can say, we can first of all check the data. Let's store it inside body. Then we can say await. So for this await, we have to set the function asynchronous. So here now I can just mark it as async. So let's do that. So I can say await, then context dot request dot json. So the json like this, sir. The json, then I can set it as map. So as map basically. So as map is like this. Then I can now say find a new user. So if the user want to add new user, so basically this is it. So new user, then the new user, the data the user want to send. So basically the ID is automatically added. So we get the user length, then we increment it by 1. Then the name the person is passing, I mean from the field we are sending to this particular argument. Then once we collect the name, then we just automatically add it, which is underscore user dot add. Then we are just calling this new user variable that we just created here. So for that, then we can now return response.json. Then we just create a new body. So we can just call the new user, which is the new added value. Then the status code to be 200. So I hope you understand this. So basically I can just run through it again. So we create a request function, which is feature because we are fetching the data. So first of all, we create a get method. So this basically is get method to fetch users. So we are just checking if the method is get. So the get is just returning all the list of users. Then for this is what's it called, post method to add a new user. So first of all, we are getting all the latest users. Then we create a new variable. So once the user make a request, we can add it to the existing user. Then we push it to the current list that we have. So now we can just test it out now on our code base. So as you can see now, if I run through this that frog, which is 800, we're currently on the home route, which is 800, which is welcome to that frog. And as I explained earlier, that frog is route based. So now we have route / users. So if I change this to users now and I run it, you can see the response where we have all the list of users here now. So now I can change, let me just switch this to post. Then add some data. So I can just select raw, then let me change it to JSON. So here we are just passing name, so I can just say name here, then I can say Samuel. So if I send this, so sorry, if I send this, let me just send this. This is sending the same method. All right, so let me just change it to get, so we can fetch all the. All right, so let me just run through this. So you can just send this. Okay, so we can just test this. So now let me create, if we copy this now, let me. All right, so to test this out now, if you notice, we are currently on the home route, which is 8080. So if I send it again, you can see welcome to that frog. And as I explained earlier, that frog works as a route base. So as I have this route, then we have users, so that's like slash users already. So if I click on this, I mean if I put slash users, which is the folder name, and I run this, let me just send this. Okay, I think Postman is okay, it's working already. So we have the list of users that we save in our JSON file already. So now if I want to add new user, now I can change this method to post. Then in my raw now, I can just set a map. Let me just. So if I want to add a new user in my method now, I can change this one to post, then switch to body, then to raw, then let me just set to JSON. So you have to set to JSON here. Then I can just, we're only sending name, so because the ID is automatically generated, so I can just say let's say Samuel like this. So let me just send it. Okay, I think let me load this on the web page. Let me just say slash users. Okay, you can see that it is added already as new ID Samuel. If I add new account, let me say TechWithSam, send. So it's added already. If you check, so you can see TechWithSam as well. So that is, yeah, this is the response I was not okay. Okay, I think my Postman is having a time reloading on time. So this is the response I'm expecting. So once I add a new item or a new user, it will give me a response of the user. Then if I load the endpoint, I can see the list of users that I've added already. So that's pretty much about the introduction to Dashfrog. Let me know what you think about Dashfrog. So basically this is a tutorial series. So the next thing now, we'll be building our first API with Dashfrog, and also probably deploying it with Dash Globe as well, so we can test it in real time. So make sure if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and drop an honest comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.